Ring, ring.
Ring, ring.
So we were going to record like an hour ago, and then it's going to be like 30 minutes after that, and then then right away now, but this has also been going on for like an hour or for like a month, you know?
Yeah. We've just been secretly avoiding recording this episode.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So why is that?
Well, because there's a lot going on in the world right now. And
yes,
we actually have a regular episode 4. I'm trying to remember the numbers now, recorded, but
recorded, mostly edited. Yeah, that one's ready-ish to go.
Yeah, it felt weird to release a very happy, normal episode without talking about what's going on first. And then we weren't quite sure how to record an episode about what's going on without, well, not without, but like while keeping, I don't know how to describe it. Maybe like the same kind of tone we've been going for.
Yeah. I mean, we try and be, happy and positive and uplifting, I guess, is, just mostly just light and cheery. And it's really hard to be light and cheery in everything that's going on. It doesn't mean you can't be positive and happy, but there's a undertone of things going on right now, and it's makes striking that balance difficult, at least for me.
Yeah. I also feel like for reference, we should state it's like the 3rd week of April, since it seems like every week, especially if like a month ago, it seemed almost like every day things were constantly changing. But yeah, I guess I can ask you more generally, how are you doing and how's the family and everyone with all this?
Yeah. Generally, yeah, we're doing pretty good. Like I said, it's not totally different from how we were before, and that we don't have a whole lot of social things going on just because timing is difficult and kiddos got their different things going on and all that. But it's more just difficulty of going and getting groceries and that kind of stuff, because life goes on and we still have to get out, and that kind of stuff is more inconvenient and difficult. But aside from those things, and just being really vigilant and staying clean and all, it's not a whole lot different as far as our day-to-day life.
Yeah. And for reference, your kiddos are young enough that they're not in school yet, so there's not that kind of thing going on either. Yeah.
So, and my wife stays at home, so I again, pretty lucky and blessed there, because I know a lot of people. One of my old coworkers dealing with kids at home, and she and her husband both work, and it's like, oh, it's tough. But so it's really, for us, not super different. My wife still stays at home with the kids and navigates different challenges, but that helps us, I guess.
Oh yeah. So you talking about you and your kids reminds me of this CBC show I was watching. CBC, for those who don't know, is the Canadian Broadcasting Company. So it's just our Canadian channel over here. But they were doing this, I think it's a guy who usually hosts like a radio interview show, but they switched it up to, online Zoom kind of calls. And they were talking to the creator and writer of this show called Working Moms.
Okay.
Yeah, another CBC show.
I think you started to tell me about this the other day.
I did tell you about this the other day, yeah.
You did? Okay, all right. I was trying to remember. It's like, this sounds really familiar. Why do I know this?
Yeah, you're like, do I know CBC shows? Do I love Canadian TV and don't know it? And
I mean, I do play a Canadian on the internet sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. So before that interview, the host, Tom Power, was talking about, he was joking about how everyone's learning to make bread these days. And he's like, oh, he just made like a nice new kind of bread. And when he started talking to, I forget her name. I think it's Catherine Reitman. I have to look it up later. But yeah, she is still working on Working Moms. I think they're doing writing sessions from online now. And she has a kid to take care of and is trying to like homeschool him now too. And she was talking about how hard it is to teach him how to read clocks. And she's like, she didn't realize how hard it was to explain that to someone, like a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was joking about it was like very lighthearted and fun, but she was just joking about how jokingly frustrated she is with everyone who's like, I'm so bored, I have so much time, and she's like, where are you guys getting this time? Like,
Seriously.
I don't even have enough time to like cook normal meals, let alone make bread. And she's like, wait, don't tell me you're making bread. He's like, I won't tell you that then. And then she like jokingly got upset with him, just being like, oh yeah, okay, what kind of bread is it? Is it fancy sourdough bread? Is it like this kind of bread? And it was just really nice and some nice levity to the conversation.
That's awesome. And also, my wife makes bread.
Oh, she would not be happy with that then, I guess.
No, her bread. She makes French bread, and she's been making bread for a long time. Though she's made bread before it was cool, so. Whatever.
Oh, okay, cool. I can't imagine how stressful it is to have everyone working full time and be trying to raise kids and teach kids and entertain them throughout the entire day.
And keep them busy enough so you can actually get some work done, and then also keep them busy enough where they can actually get some schoolwork done, because it's a balancing act. So you working from home moms who are now homeschooling moms, y'all are superheroes, just FYI. If you didn't already realize, let me just tell you, some guy on the internet.
I just picture your wife listening in the background being like, yes.
Oh, she knows she's a superhero. I tell her that.
I'm sure you tell her like every day.
It is, if I don't verbalize it, it is definitely implied. Like, hey, I come home and the house is not on fire and there's even food, rock on. You did a great job today.
Whether there's bread or no bread, either is good.
Seriously. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, she's a superhero. How are you guys doing? What's life like up there in the Great White North?
In the Great White North.
Mm-hmm.
For us, things are going relatively well as can be, which I'm really, really grateful for. Yeah. Everyone is now home, which is a little bit different. So there's a lot more people at home and a lot more everyone trying to manage schedules and who gets what space, because everyone also seems to have meetings all day long now, more than before.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of, who gets this room for their meetings today and who gets this room, and just meetings 24/7. Well, not 24/7, I guess business day 24/7.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's working from home, and I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad everybody's home. Yeah. I just realized we hadn't actually got to talk about some of those things, because just been so much other stuff going on. It's been kind of crazy. Right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. And everybody being off, and now they're all back. And okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And there was a lot of, I think, especially at the beginning when everything started happening in North America, and every day the news was like, you have to keep up to date on the news, because like what's changing, what's happening. There was a lot of navigating for us of how we all deal with it. And so like my dad wanted the news on all the time, and my mom found that very, very stressful to keep hearing just very intense news.
Yeah.
And kind of navigating how much we talked about it, or the intensity with which we talked about it, and how much we talk about other stuff, and kind of figuring out what was helpful for everyone and making space for that, and being like compassionate to each other. And yeah.
Because it's, I guess it's a big change to have everybody home all at once, all the time, versus, the comings and goings of quote unquote normal life. And so just that in itself is different. And then with the backdrop of everything happening, it's like, oh, this is just added difference. It makes things
and then just how everyone
at times, maybe
deals with it, and how much everyone wants to think about it or talk about it can be very different. So kind of navigating that and figuring out where that balance is for everyone. Yeah. But overall, it's been surprisingly nice. Yeah. And we all have like dinner together at dinner time, which is nice to have everyone together again. And we talk about our days, and it's mostly a lot cool. There's been a lot of meetings today. But,
So dinner we're gonna have a family meeting. It's like hey guys, hold on, business voice off. How are you doing today? Well, we had this meeting. No, hold on, back it up. Yeah. I don't want to hear the M word, please. Let's just.
Yeah, no meetings. Yeah.
No. You said it twice.
No talk of Zoom. No talk of meetings.
I don't want to hear Skype. I don't want to hear Zoom.
No.
No. No.
Yeah.
I'm glad for that. That's good. And it's kind of one of the situations of not the best circumstances, but if you can get some extra bonding time, that's really good. So yay.
Yeah, bonding and like not getting too stressed out by each other time is always good too. I was watching this one Instagram story, and it was just someone complaining about everything every member of their family was that like what they were doing that was bothering them, and I think they were just so frustrated from being at home with them 24/7 that they were just like, I've had enough, and then they were fine after. But it's kind of like
Yeah, I think, and there's so many new podcasts and so much new social media stuff going on. It's quite funny to see all the different things happening and springing up out of it. That's kind of just because some people are getting really creative with stuff. And even though in some ways you have like with this podcast, I know a lot of podcasts I listen to, everybody putting out a lot more episodes and things. It's like, I don't have time to listen to all these podcasts. I'm not commuting like I was before, I'm not, I have less time for podcasts and more episodes to listen to. You'll need to chill out.
Yeah. Oh man.
But you guys should totally listen to this one. This is special. And besides, it's been a minute since one's come out. So yeah.
Talking about personal conflicts with people living together suddenly, it's reminding me of stories you hear now of people like very awkwardly breaking up during all of this, but they can't leave each other, so they're like stuck living together while also having just broken up.
I hadn't even thought of that, but yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? It's like you can't go look for an apartment or whatever. You're just kind of like, well,
we're done, but what do you want to eat for dinner tonight?
I was thinking about ordering this. What do you think? You cool with that? Yeah, I'm cool with that. All right, great.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hadn't even considered that. But yeah, again, you can't just go find another apartment. You can't go move in with somebody else or whatever with crash on somebody's couch because social distancing, that doesn't really work. So
yeah, I think it's been that or like the opposite where people weren't planning on moving in together this soon, but because of what's going on, it's like, oh, we either don't see each other or we move in. So I guess we'll just move in a little faster than we expected and also spend 24/7 together very quickly.
Ooh, that's a real good stress test right there for your relationship. It's like, it's like,
if you can manage that, it's a good start.
Yeah. It's like how you talk about having your relationship built on something. It's like, yeah, well, we survived, and yeah. What else do you want? Oh man. So
your made me think you were about to ask me a very deep philosophical question again.
No, I was looking at our show notes, and I was wondering if there was anything in here that you wanted to talk about, or it looks like a lot of media.
Yeah, it's a lot of random. I knew we were going to be recording this episode eventually when we figured out what we wanted to talk about. And I had just been collecting random things that had been interesting or I thought you might enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of eclectic. I don't know if you want to talk about one of them or some of them.
I haven't looked at any of them or listened to any. So I see a song. I see
I think
some stuff. So I have not. I am totally.
Okay. I am going to suggest you click on the song. I don't know. It's so random and so it was just very unexpected. But do you want me to give you a bit of context before we start? Or you just want to go into this?
I see a song and then I see a link for context. They both look like YouTube channels. So should I just? I kind of want to listen and then hear your story.
Okay, go for it.
All right. Here we go. And I guess we'll just keep the mic on for syncing purposes. But
okay.
If you want to add some commentary, I guess you can do that. This I'm already enjoying the title of said song.
Oh, I don't even remember the title.
Justin Trudeau sings "Speaking Moistly."
do you know the context of this?
I have no idea, but I definitely want to. I see what looks like some people with sign language. So it's a minute and 46 seconds, so I'm gonna watch.
Okay.
We'll talk, but I'm already enjoying this. This is good.
Prevent you from speaking moistly. Speaking moistly.
This reminds me very much of Shmo Yoho.
I don't actually know what that is.
Oh, the Songify the News.
Oh, yes. Yes, this is very in line with that. So I'm watching it with you at the same time now. And I forgot how oddly happy this makes me. Like, it's just so silly and ridiculous.
It is very, very silly. It totally helps having the sign language people off to the side signing.
And the, like, random zoom-ins they do in the editing.
Yeah. And also, the way they edit it, just Trudeau looks like he is about to... Trudeau looks like he's about to bust out laughing himself anyway, which does not help.
I don't think he said that on purpose. It was in it was in the question and answer section afterwards.
Oh my goodness, this is great. What a terrible image.
Yeah, I know. It just, really adds to it. It was just very, I hadn't seen this daily briefing. I had just heard a lot about that he misspoke by accident.
Yeah, bless his heart. How to be a politician.
Yeah, I know, right?
Word you say scrutinized. They don't have the luck of, or whatever, the whatever of being able to edit out your gaffes. like I can edit out my gaff here. Yeah.
Would you like to watch the context video?
Yes. What is the said context video?
And would you also like to maybe explain for people who don't know the context of all this what you just watched and are watching maybe after you watch this?
I mean, that is silly, but okay. So, all right, I'm not gonna watch the whole video.
No, you don't need to watch the whole video.
Yeah,
they just talk a little bit more about how you can like see it on him when he says it after.
Yeah. So yeah, so the song, if you haven't listened to it yet, if you're driving or whatever, the whole song is auto-tuned of Trudeau speaking moistly, and that is a gaffe. He was trying to basically talking about wearing face masks, and the face mask prevent you from speaking moistly onto people. but his expression, he's like, he could not get the word out, and I can't relate to that at all. I always speak perfectly, so it must be very difficult. Again, it's nice to be able to edit these things out whenever they come up. But so he clearly misspoke, but again, it's one of those it's a funny thing, but also, I mean, he's not technically incorrect. It's
no,
just
he's
maybe
not
the most articulate way to say it.
A really funny part of it too is after he says it, he just goes to himself, "What a terrible image."
I like that. You gotta be able to. Make it real.
Yeah, afterwards, like the rest of the day or for like the next few days, it would come up a lot, like referencing that he said that. And I hadn't seen that daily briefing, so I was like, oh, what is this in reference to? And then this showed up and I was like, oh, I understand now.
So yeah, that's nice and lighthearted. You should definitely go check that out.
Yeah, it was like a nice, silly, lighthearted take on one of the daily briefings.
Are they still? Are there? I am a bad citizen in that I don't keep up with the news very much. I'm a kind of a CGB grade when it comes to that. It's like, okay, it will penetrate my field of whatever if I need to know it. So I don't really. Is there still daily briefings and things going on right now in general?
To be honest, I don't know. I was watching them at the beginning, pretty as I could, but things are kind of more in like a standstill right now, and I am trying to consume news in like a balanced amount to kind of not overwhelm myself all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's very much a wait and see thing right now anyway, I think. So
yeah, so I don't think there's too many new things going on in the daily briefings, and anything that's really important will get announced in other ways too.
I guess the only briefings I'm getting is related to work, because we do get daily briefings on my job, so we get emails, but it's more specifically how it relates to us and customers and that kind of stuff. But we have some more general, the they'll maybe reference something talked about in the news, but it's more how that, how it relates to this in the job, which I appreciate. It's, it's not also like you don't have to, if you are paying special attention to the news and this and that, and then also to go to work, it's like get an email, oh, and by the way, this happened in the news. Like, come on, guys, I'm at work. Let me work. Okay, so it's very much, here's what happened and here's how it relates to your job. Like, okay, I'm cool with that.
Very functional news briefing.
Yes,
then, yeah.
Functional news. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, functional news.
Yeah, I found I would kind of look at news related things for a while and then be like, oh, this is too much, and I would stop and then try to take my mind off of it for a little bit by like watching TV or something. But unfortunately, we still have cable, so I watch a lot of shows through like the PVR, and so there are commercials still, which I can fast forward if I record them. But because they're like primetime shows, the commercials towards the end are always like coming up on the news. It's so intense. I'm like, fast forward. This is my time to like not think about this. I sometimes will not watch a show for a while and then catch up all at once. And it was so surreal going back to like shows from a couple months ago where they're like coming up on the news, and they were like, oh, there was a public meeting tonight where lots of people gathered to talk about the school year next year. And I'm like, oh, this is definitely from the past. Like a public meeting where tons of people are gathered. And I don't know, it was kind of wild seeing how much things had changed since then. Yeah.
So, like we may or may not have discussed, I'm working downtown now, and I've never worked downtown before, but I've been enough to know that there's traffic and there's stuff, and it's so weird. Like, I just drive straight into downtown and just straight to parking and walk across the street, and there's, tons of empty parking places, and there's nobody outside. It's really, really weird.
Yeah, someone sent a photo of downtown Toronto at rush hour, and it was like green everywhere. I was like, wow, something's definitely up when that's happening. Yeah.
It's just kind of weird and crazy. I've actually sent you some pictures, because I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I'm like, oh, and check it out. Like, yeah, this is the street. There's no one on it.
Yeah. You're like, this is not the downtown I expected.
No, that's in the middle of lunchtime. There should be people walking everywhere, going and getting food and this and that. And like, no one there. But anyway, what were you starting to say?
I totally forget now. What was it?
Sorry.
That sorry sounded oddly Canadian. Speaking of changes reminded me of something else where people were talking about how it's weird how quickly you can adapt to changes. And they were talking about how now when they see commercials sometimes that were filmed a long time ago, where it's like people all getting together and being really close to each other. They're like, what are you doing? Stay back. Like, it's not allowed. Yeah. And just that's like this instinctual response now. I'm like, wow, it's kind of crazy how quickly people can kind of like adapt their mindsets and change. Yeah.
It was so weird because like actually today at work, I was talking to my boss for a minute, and his boss was making his rounds. He was about to leave, and he walked up to me and kind of like maneuvered his hand like he was going to shake my hand, and I was I kind of course like, what do I do here? Because this is my boss's boss. I can't just not shake his hand. And he's like in the like kind of maneuvers hands around a little bit, and he got a thing of Germex, like, here, you want to pump? I'm like, yeah, oh, thank you. So squirts of Germex in my hand, wipe my hands down. I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, okay, what do I do here? Because they're really, really cognizant of what's going on, which I appreciate. And so, but I was like, you don't just not shake your boss's hand if he sticks his hand out there. It's like, no, get your nasty hands away from me. I don't want to deal with this. so I was like, oh, okay, yes, please, Germex. That sounds great. We'll clean up. And, all right, have a nice day. Have a good weekend. But, yeah, so I definitely, like, in some ways, to me, the crowd stuff it would be weird, but because I am in the burbs in the middle of nowhere, and I haven't worked downtown, it's not as surreal to me. So it's much more like, oh, well, there should be people here. Is the oddity versus when seeing stuff from the past, like, there's people everywhere. It's like that's less odd to me, I guess. I don't. Maybe I guess because I'm more insulated. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's more true of people who are not in the city, if that's as odd to them or not.
I feel like we were supposed to have someone come in at that moment being like, hello, I'm the exact person you were looking to comment on this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, your handshaking story reminded me of one of my favorite videos to come out when all this stuff was starting to happen. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was, where I don't even know how to find it anymore. Where was it? It was in Europe somewhere. It was like the leaders, including like the health minister, talking about how like everyone has to stay away, no shaking hands. And at the end, they go to shake each other's hands, forgetting. And then at the last moment, they all pull away and they go, oh my goodness. And they all like kind of burst out laughing, like that kind of like, oh, we almost just did that. And
that's funny.
It was just really funny. And I don't know. Yeah, it was just something nice and light when everything started going really, really wrong. If you haven't seen it, I feel like I should try to find it for you because it's very charming, I would say.
Yeah. While you look, on a positive story note too, this is something, well, before I started my job that I'm at now, so this is probably, I don't know, beginning of this month. I didn't get to tell you about this. This is pretty cool. But this is right whenever they started, closing all the schools down and everything. And I was home with, I think we was having breakfast or lunch, and we were sitting there eating, and all of a sudden we hear some horns honking, and I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm in a little tiny suburb neighborhood, whatever, and I hear horns honking. I hear music playing. I'm like, what is going on? And nothing should be going on. There's we're in the height of everybody keeping themselves, whatever. And so I go up to the window and look, and I see several cars with teachers hanging out the windows, and had like basically they were driving through the neighborhoods of their kids, of the kids that they would have been teaching, and was just honking and waving and just being really nice and basically telling them that they miss them. I don't remember what else was going on. It seemed like maybe they had some streamers and stuff going, just some little fun stuff, and just kind of slowly waving and telling their students hi. I'm like, oh, that's really sweet and
that is really
wholesome.
Sweet.
But and I've heard of that happening in other places. It wasn't just here, but I'm like, that's really cool. I dug that, and because there's a lot of kids around in this neighborhood, so I'm like, I don't know if it was special to them, but it was, I didn't have any kids in there, but it was special to me. I'm like, this is really sweet.
Like, I'm not even a student.
Yeah.
I saw something like that on the news the other day, and it was really, really sweet. There was, I think in one of the suburbs around here, they had a parade for the healthcare workers one day.
Oh, nice.
And I think a whole bunch of people drove past the hospital honking horns and like with signs thanking the healthcare workers and stuff. And it was really, really sweet. And they interviewed some of the healthcare workers, and they were like tearing up just, knowing how appreciated they were. And it's very nice.
That's super cool. I've enjoyed listening to the heavyweight updates. Those have been definitely pretty interesting, and just different stuff in general.
Yeah. I listened to the updates, and I think I listened to a regular episode, which had me laughing at the beginning because they tried to do a phone-in show, and they opened the lines.
Oh, Heavyweight did?
Yeah, Heavyweight did.
Really? I haven't got to that yet.
Yeah, so so I won't spoil anything. It's just the beginning kind of setup. But
no, that's fine.
They opened the lines. I'm used to shows like Reply All or Beautiful Anonymous having like the lines are open, no one can get through, and if you can get through, you're like, oh my gosh, I finally got through. And so for Heavyweight, they they open the lines, and then it's just Jonathan and his like staff sitting there. So the lines are open, right?
No.
And then, finally someone calls, and she's like, oh my gosh, I got through. And they're like, yeah, you're really lucky to have got through. And it was just very funny. They're like, Jonathan was very self-deprecating, as he normally is.
Yeah. I was thinking, I'm totally hearing his deadpan. Like, it's like, yeah, you were so lucky to get through and talk to wonderful me,
It's like I am totally willing to take as much time as it takes to help you.
Oh man, I can hear his voice right now. It's like, oh man, I want to hear that one.
I know. It's like, oh no, this is.
That's great. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to. Heavyweight is on my catch-up list now that I'm caught up on Unmade. So
It is one of my favorite shows, but I can only listen to it when I'm in the right mood because it will often leave me feeling very emotional.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's called Heavyweight for a reason.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I can only listen to one at a time. Like some I can listen to 2 or 3 in a row, no big deal. But Heavyweight, no, we listen to one and then we're done.
It's emotional in like a very good way, though, I find. You just have to be in the mood for it. Oh, I watched a special the other day. Again, very cheesy. I feel like I need to come up with a suggestion that is less cheesy. But
Nah. We need positive, cheery, upbeat things.
yeah. So I watched. They had a Disney sing along on TV the other day, and
That does sound pretty cheesy.
it was super cheesy. It was very, very. It's like even cheesier than you expected it to be.
Oh my!
But also wonderful if you're into that.
Totally.
Yeah, and so
I mean, we're '90s kids. We grew up with Disney musicals.
so
That
you
was
got
kind
to
of our
hear
thing. Yeah.
some songs from
Yeah.
your childhood and modern songs as well, which might be some people's childhoods.
Somebody children's is now.
So they had different celebrities or a lot of people from like the ABC family, I guess you'll say,
Okay.
who came in to sing covers of the songs.
When you're saying ABC family, you're saying like the ABC television network?
Yeah,
Or
the
you're
ABC
talking-
television network. So there's different
Okay.
stars from their different shows who can sing, who came in. They're originally dancers and also singers. And
Oh, nice. Okay.
so they actually included this cool choreography where his sister's also a dancer as well. And so since they're not together, they included choreography that included putting a tablet with her on video call and her doing the
Okay.
same dance and kind of like cool transitions using the tablet, which I thought was pretty inventive.
That is cool.
They had people coming in and including their families in the songs, which were really, really sweet and just very
That is
moving.
cool. Yeah.
Okay. I included some links for you, and I think
Mhm.
you should watch 1 or 2 of them.
Okay. High School Musical?
I included High School Musical only because I know you have watched the new one, and so
Uh-huh.
I thought you might appreciate it, but I don't know if the song is in the new one or not.
I haven't finished that one yet.
Okay. This is a song from the original, but they actually
I have not
have
watched those.
tons of people from the original cast and the new cast come in.
Oh, cool. They did a really good job, all things considered.
I know, it's impressive, the
Mm-hmm.
harmonizing from afar.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Do you know this song?
Maybe. I'm trying to think. I'm not sure. It seems familiar, but I'm not sure I know this version. I'm also trying to think and talk at the same time and listen, and so that does not work very well. I'm not a good multitasker.
It's okay.
Yeah. This sounds familiar. I'm pretty sure I've heard it before.
Yeah. It's a very appropriate song for the times. We're all in this together. It's also
Yeah,
a very
yeah.
cheesy song, but very uplifting
totally.
and happy.
It's allowed to be cheesy.
Yeah. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, you should skip to like the last 20 seconds because there's so
Okay.
many people. It's
Okay,
Like,
I'm doing that.
They had a lot of people involved in this. 258.
This took a lot of work.
Yeah.
That is a lot of people.
I don't think I was planning on including this one in the podcast. I mostly just thought you
Uh-huh.
might enjoy it because High School Musical.
I never would have thought I would enjoy High School Musical, but yeah, the series is actually it's a little corny, but it's mostly pretty funny and cute.
I did not expect you to watch it as an adult. And then you were like, "Oh, we're going to watch High School Musical tonight." I was like, "Okay, cool."
it's like okay.
And you don't even have like the nostalgia factor of the original to go off of. You're just like, "Yeah, let's just watch it."
Let's just watch it.
There is one I want you to watch. I
Okay.
think my favorite performance from the Disney Sing-Along show, probably biased because it's one of my favorite songs from Disney, but is the Mulan song,
Okay.
I'll Make a Man Out of You.
Okay.
And
check it out.
so it's actually sung by the original singer, Donny Osmond. And his voice is still pretty incredible. And it's so adorable because he gets his grandchildren to kind of come in and sing. I think it's like a video call setup because I don't think they're in the same place. But he gets his grandkids to sing some of the different lines. And it's just really adorable and wholesome.
Oh, this is a good song too.
I love this song so much.
I haven't watched Mulan in so long. And Donny Osmond, man, he can still sing.
I know, right?
Yeah.
The goodbyes are pretty adorable too.
Yeah.
I think there's just something really nice about seeing families still able to connect in whatever way they can now. It just makes me really happy.
Yeah, I agree. It's, again, I've been doing the long distance thing with, my family for quite a bit, so it's definitely, it's not super different, but it is. I haven't got to do any of the video call stuff, which I'd like to do that, but yeah, that's really sweet. I like that a lot.
You can watch the original on Disney Plus, I think.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Now this just sounds like it's Disney Plus sponsored, but we would be lucky.
I say maybe we'd be so lucky. Holy moly, yeah. Hey, you know what, Disney? If you're listening, we'll totally do that Onward episode that we talked about. If you give us a little sponsorship, Can You Feel the Love Tonight was always one of my favorites. I love that one on Lion King. Lion King was that and Aladdin were my two favorites as growing up.
Those are so good. Those are some of my favorites too.
Yeah, and I still haven't seen the Lion King remake yet. Did you watch that one?
I have not watched it yet either.
It's on Disney Plus. I'm like, I want to see that. But
I think. So watching this also made me feel like, maybe we should have a Disney episode sometime.
That would be awesome. I would so love doing that.
Me too.
But especially if we put Pixar in, but even I'm sure we could probably just do the 90s Disney movies and just have a time.
I had such a time watching this sing-along show. I was like, I forget how much I love these songs.
Yeah. Indeed.
And they even have, as you saw, like the little, like the words at the bottom, the little like mouse ears bouncing along, so you can sing along with it.
But yeah, you sent me a commercial and Jimmy Fallon, and those others. So I think I missed those, and a musical song.
Another lighthearted, funny thing. So Jimmy Fallon has been doing the Tonight Show Home Edition lately, which is really adorable if you haven't checked it out. But he films with his kids at home now, and so they help draw the title cards. So they're done in crayon and like kid writing, and it's pretty adorable and casual watching him at home. It's really nice. But this video is, he does this challenge on his show normally called like the Whisper Challenge, and I think someone wears headphones and the other person tries to say something to them or sing something to them, and they have to guess what it is without hearing it. And so they're playing the same game but over a Zoom call instead and seeing how it goes, and let's just say it does not go well. And
fair. It
was just a nice fun laugh. And it is with Millie Bobby Brown is the guest for this game.
Yeah. Let me, I want to watch that, but I need to move because Stephanie's fixing to go to bed.
Okay. Cool.
So let me take a brief pause while I relocate.
If you want to skip until like they have both people on screen, like 30 seconds in, it's just explaining the game.
Which you've already done.
Which I've already done. So yeah, one person has no sound from the other person.
Okay. It's also very funny to hear Millie Bobby Brown because she is a British actress. And it's like, oh, yes, she's British.
Oh, right. She is not British in Stranger Things.
That was really funny. I'm going to dance.
Oh, do you see the drawing? That's probably something his kid drew.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Really adorable.
It is. That's fun.
Do you know the musical Les Mis? Or Les Miserables?
Yes.
As it's formally called. Have you seen the...
I've not seen it.
Okay.
I know it. Of it.
Oh, no, not the original. But have you seen the quarantine version of the song A Family Created?
No.
Do you know any of the music from the musical?
No. I know it has Hugh Jackman and Anne Hathaway.
Okay. So they made a parody version of one of the classic songs from it. It's a lot more fun if you already know the song. It's the song is One Day More. But if you don't know it, it might still be enjoyable. But if you would like to listen...
Is it the Facebook link?
Yes, it is the Facebook link.
My trackpad on my laptop is awful, and I'm trying to copy.
Uh-huh.
And, because I'm sitting... you've seen my living room setup before where I have the little end table in front of me.
Oh, yes, it is very makeshift.
Yes.
I guess if we if we may include this, I guess I can set it up while you get yourself settled, just in case, for context.
That'll work.
So this video is of a family who did a parody of the song One Day More from Les Mis, and it's like the quarantine version, I guess, and so all the words are changed to be relevant to now. And it is surprisingly good, and they're all surprisingly very decent singers for just like a random family at their house.
Yeah.
And they have a really good time doing it together too, which is always really nice to see.
There's a bunch of little kids, and then it looks like a couple of adults. So yeah,
4 kids
I'm
and
impressed.
2 parents.
Yeah. All right.
I love this song so much, just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really good song.
Have you seen the? I'm sure you've seen the movie, but did you see the musical or a musical version of the play?
I did.
Yeah.
It's my parents, like one of their favorite musicals. And so whenever we got the chance, we would watch it, which is not very often because I think it's come here maybe a couple times, but more recently.
Yeah.
But I kind of grew up watching it every few years as we could.
Yeah.
And it's like a devastating musical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand it's being pretty hardcore.
Also, I'm trying to talk to you, but also very distracted by listening to them like rock the ending of the song. But yeah, no, Les Mis is also like one of my favorite musicals. I grew up watching it, and I always really enjoyed it. Like the stage production is really, really cool and really well done.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as a kid, you don't understand the context of everything they're singing about. And then the more I grew up, the more I understood what the story was about and how sad and devastating it was. And so like every time I saw it, I would cry like more and more each time. And I was like, oh no, this is a very sad musical.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. The songs are so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me, I may have told you this before, I don't remember. But did you ever see the Robin Hood cartoon? For the Disney version?
The one with the fox?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
So, have you watched it recently? Like, within the last, since you've been since you have been an adult?
I have not.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would recommend it then.
No, okay.
Because, yeah, it's, so, Stephanie and I don't remember why we watched that movie, I don't know, a handful of years back, a couple of years back, we were like shuffling through Netflix or something, and we're like, we want to watch something, and like, hey, let's watch Robin Hood. We haven't watched that in a long time, because we both, there's lots of little funny, little jokes from within the movie because we grew up watching as kids, and we watched it a bunch as kids, and then we rewatched it as adults, and we're like, this movie's sad and depressing.
Oh no!
It's like there's, the funny parts are still there, but like the overall tone is really harsh and just super heavy.
Oh.
Like it's really, really heavy, and I'm like, oh wow, I don't remember this movie being so heavy.
You guys
like,
just cried after. Can we watch something happy, please?
It's not really something to cry about. It was like, wow, this is really, really heavy. Like to me, like it wasn't a Pixar level where, because granted I've watched most of the Pixar movies as adults, and it's like I have cried more than I care to admit watching the Pixar movies, but the Disney movies didn't affect me in that same way, generally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's definitely sad parts, like in Lion King and whatever, but it's always been an easier separation because they're cartoons, I guess, maybe, but and like hand-drawn cartoons versus computer stuff where it's a little more realistic. But I don't know if that's the case or not, but it's just how I remember it. But I kind of want to rewatch Lion King now and be like the remade version now, extra, since we already talked about it. I'm like, but yeah, Robin Hood. It's very sad, and I don't even want to like get into the why. It's just. If I would encourage any listeners who maybe watched that as kids and like, oh yeah, I remember that being funny, the snake, yes, yeah, get out of that if you can. Those parts are still there, but you should rewatch it and be like, hey, oh wow, this is heavy.
Wait, are you saying it's so sad and depressing that you recommend people rewatch it?
No, it's not like it's not super. I guess it's an interesting nostalgia experiment.
Okay.
To see, because I think that that movie in particular, because nostalgia colored my opinion as a kid so much, but it's because it's still a good movie, but the tone is way different than I remember as a kid, and it's like, oh wow, this is because there's been few things that a tone has changed completely for me from when I remember as a kid, because some things. Yeah, because I mean, we all followed things that we loved as kids, and you rewatch as adult, like, this is awful. This is or it's like, okay, I remember enjoying this, but it's not a good movie or a good show or whatever. But this one, it was still good, but it was just like, oh wow, this is way heavier than I remember. But yeah, so yeah, that's all I had on that. But anyway,
Patrick's review of Robin Hood as an adult, but the kid or the animated version.
Yeah.
Have you seen this on Reddit where people are recreating famous works of art with what they have at home?
No, I have not. That sounds very cool, though.
It's been very enjoyable and very creative, I will say, maybe is the right word, to see what people can pull off with what they have at home.
As with many things, Reddit.
And these were two I thought you might enjoy because they are... do you know the painting The Girl with the Pearl Earring?
I am very, very uncultured when it comes to art, so probably not.
You might not know it by name, but you might recognize it just because it shows up now and again. But I think you should Google
Possibly.
that first so you have a reference point before you look at these.
Too late. Already looked at the cat.
Are you already looking at it? Do you recognize the painting from this recreation with cat?
No.
Okay.
That is very good, though. All right, what's the name of the piece again?
Girl with the Pearl Earring, I believe is what it is called.
The pearl earring. No, I do not recognize this.
Okay. So that is what they're recreating.
But it's a very good recreation.
I know,
though.
right? I was like, wow.
Well done. It has the tassel and everything. This is great.
And then there's also the dog version.
Oh, that's the second one?
Yeah.
Okay, a cat and dog, that makes sense. All right, let's see the dog version. Come on. Complete with the tennis ball. I love that. The cat has a certain poise as a cat should, but the dog is very true to his character, and I feel like as an art critic that they both speak to different pieces of me, but I believe that the dog is much true to its character.
I feel like I should have brought more of these in for you to critique as an art critic.
Goodness.
To prevent you from speaking moistly. Speaking moistly.